Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is on March 27th, 2024. It's on Wednesday and sunny. How do you like Wednesday? Are you enjoying Wednesday? Do you have a work or school today? Or have you already finished studying or working? Or have you got a day off today? It depends on your schedule. It hinges on your schedule. It's all up to your schedule. It's dependent on your schedule. I usually don't have the interest in what others have. I am not interested in what others are interested. Usually. I usually don't have the interest in what others are interested in. What is the most important in our life might be the time, because time is fair to everybody. What is most a precious thing in our life is our health, I think. Without health, we cannot do anything. Nothing is as important as our health. Nothing is more important than health. Health is more important than any other thing, I think. What has to be dealt with right now is the duty on your desk. What was stolen from the store amounted to 1 billion yen. What was stolen from the store amounted to $1 million. What I put emphasis on in my life is to work on my interests, passion, enthusiasm, and so on. What I prioritize in my life is to do what I'm interested in. What I prioritize in my life is to do what I'm interested in. What I give precedence to the most in my life is to do what I like, what I'm interested in. What I give priority to the most is to do what I'm interested in. What I give precedence to the most in my life is to do what I'm interested in. What I give priority to the most in my life is to do what I'm interested in. What I do in the first place, after getting up, is to wash my face and brush my teeth before eating breakfast. Maybe some people do the opposite. What I give precedence to the most in my life is to do what I'm interested in. What I give priority to the most in my life is doing what I'm interested in. What I give priority to the most is doing what I'm interested in. What I give priority to the most. What I give priority to the most in my life is doing what I have the interest in. What is regarded as virtue might be regarded as vice in other communities. What is regarded as vice in your community might be regarded as virtue in other communities. What is regarded as common sense in your community might be regarded as rude in other communities. What you regard as common sense could be regarded as vice in other communities. What was produced by the chef from in the early morning was all sold out within 12 o'clock p.m. What was earned by her husband was spent only a day by her. What is the most important thing in our life might find the one we can be into forever, for good, perpetually, everlastingly. Perpetually, with a lot of passion, enthusiasm. What the lecture emphasized the most was to have grit. Washing my face and brushing my teeth are what I do in the first place in the morning. Washing your hands and rinse your mouth should be what you have to do in the first place. Soon coming out from outside, coming back from outside. Washing your hands and rinsing your throat with water should be what you have to do in the first place after coming out from outside. You are exactly what we have been searching for. You are exactly what we have been looking for. This bag is exactly what I have been looking for. The accident is exactly what I expected. My success in the business is exactly what I didn't expect, anticipate, predict. His failure in the business is exactly what everybody guessed. His failure in the examination is exactly what everybody predicted, anticipated, expected, guessed, thought. The wife consumed all of what her husband earned in a month. The wife spent all of what was earned by her husband. Some wild animals ate what was left on the street. I could hardly understand what was explained by the professor. Few students in the class could understand what was explained by the professor. Few students could understand what was explained by the professor. Few students could understand what was explained by the professor. I, as well as you, could understand nothing about it. I could understand next to nothing about what was explained by the associate professor. I, as well as you, could hardly make heads understand what was explained by the associate professor. Every audience stared at what was performed by the idol. The movie is what the director put the most emphasis on ever in his career. The movie is what the director inserted the most powerful energy into. Bread and a cup of coffee are what I eat and have for breakfast. A cup of coffee is what I have for breakfast. A cup of coffee is what I have for breakfast. A cup of coffee is what I have after eating lunch, as many of you do. But sometimes the caffeine included in the coffee doesn't work to prevent me from feeling sleepy, drowsy. Do you think the coffee you drink in the morning tastes the best? Water. A cup of coffee is what I have for breakfast almost every morning. Sleeping until 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock a.m. is what I'd like to do on weekends. Sleeping until enough is what I'd like to do every morning. Becoming a billionaire through YouTube videos is what I like to be. Earning a lot of money from YouTube videos is what I'm envious of, dreaming of. Earning a lot of money with YouTube videos is what I'm dreaming of. Making a living with YouTube videos is what I'm dreaming of. Making a living with YouTube videos is what I'm dreaming of. Making a living with YouTube videos is what I'm dreaming of. Earning enough money may be what many YouTubers are dreaming of. Earning enough money might be what many YouTubers are dreaming of. Earning enough money from YouTube videos may be what many YouTubers are aiming at. Earning enough money from YouTube videos might be what is aimed at by many YouTubers. Driving my car carefully is what I bear in mind. Driving my car carefully is what I think when I'm driving. Driving my car is what I have to pay attention to the most. What we have to pay attention to is the cause of stress. The torrential rain in the middle of the mountain was exactly what I had expected. The traffic congestion in front of the JR station in order to park their cars was exactly what I had expected. Parking lots with full cars were exactly what I had predicted. Parking lots with full cars were exactly what I had expected. The concert tickets being sold out soon after the sale was what I had expected, anticipated, predicted, guessed. Japanese chopsticks is exactly what I have wanted. Because my chopsticks were getting older with some cracks. Overcoming weaknesses is exactly what I have to work on to grow up, to grow. Getting over difficulties is exactly what I have to work on. Overcoming weaknesses is exactly what I have to work on. I do what I believe. Choose what you believe is right. I will eat what you cook. I will eat what you cook. I think it's okay for me. I will eat what you cook. 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 I could hardly understand what the professor was explaining. I could hardly understand what the associate professor was explaining. I could understand next to nothing about what the professor explained. I could hardly understand about what the professor explained. I could understand next about what the professor explained. I don't know next to anything about what the uncle explained. You had better pay attention to what the teacher is explaining. You ought to pay attention to what your teacher is explaining. Otherwise, you might flunk the subjects, ending up taking the same year again. You are better off paying attention to what the teacher is explaining. Otherwise, you might flunk the subject, ending up taking the same year again. Do you prefer to buy what was produced from a big company by a big company? Do you prefer to buy what was produced by a big company? Do you believe in what was advised by an influencer? Do you follow what was advised by an influencer? Do you follow what was advised by an influencer? I am envious of those who never care about what others say. I wish I were strong mentally enough to be able to ignore what other people criticize about me. I wish I were mentally strong enough to turn a blind eye to what other people say. I wish I was strong enough mentally to disregard what other people criticize regarding me. I wish I were strong enough mentally to turn my back on what other people criticize towards me. If only I were strong enough mentally to disregard what other people criticize in respect of me, in regard to me, with respect to me, regarding me, in terms of me. If only I were strong mentally enough to be able to disregard what other people criticize. I do what I'm interested in. I'd like to do what I'm interested in. I pay respect to those who do what they don't have the interest in. I really pay respect to those who can do what they don't like. I really pay respect to those who can work on what they are not interested in. Pay attention to what the lecturer is explaining on the board. Keep an eye on what your baby is doing for safety. Keep an eye on what your baby is doing. I'm eating what my wife cooked. I'm revising what was pointed out by my teacher. I am practicing the part of the music sheet which was pointed out by my teacher. I am fixing what was pointed out by the teacher. I am amending what was pointed out by my teacher. The mechanic is fixing what was ordered by his customer. Are you content with what you are now? Are you content with what you are now? I am looking forward to how the new building of the JR station will be after the completion. I am looking forward to seeing how the new type of JR station will be after the completion. Many fans went to buy what was introduced from the influencer. The product was sold out from coast to coast soon after the advertisement by the influencer. Many fans went to buy what was advertised by the influencer, causing sold out everywhere. Please do not turn your blind eye to what you have to do. Don't turn a blind eye to what you have to do. Don't turn a blind eye to what you have to do. Don't turn your back on what you have to do. Don't turn your back on what you have to do. Don't turn a blind eye to what you have to do. Do not disregard what you have to do. Do not ignore what you have to work on. I hit what landed on my arm. Mosquito. I failed to hit what landed on my arm. Mosquito. Are you preparing for what might happen in the future? Are you against what was referred to by the person? The reporters are listening to carefully what is being explained by the spokesperson. According to what was informed by the witnesses, it was horrible. In terms of what was remarked at the meeting by him, insane. It's insane. He is incredible, in a way, in a sense, in every respect. In every respect. The person A talked back to what was disrespected by the person B. The person A didn't even try to talk back to what he was criticized. Are you preparing for what will happen in the future? Are you preparing for what will happen in the future? The city is very different from what it was 3 years ago already. Many buildings were already built, erected, established on the land where it used to be rice field. The police officers are investigating what's going on. The reporters are getting information of what is going on the menu. The journalists are getting information as much as possible, regarding what's going on the menu. The marketing department is discussing what will be most attractive to teenagers. The department of the company is discussing what will be the best solution to the problem. Do you usually review what you have learned at school? Do you usually review what you have learned at school? Do you usually review what you have learned at school? Don't disregard what was advised from your doctor, by your doctor. Obey what you were advised by your doctor. Obey what you were advised by your doctor. Pay attention to what is being explained by the teacher. Pay close attention to what is being explained by the lecturer. Take a close look at what is written on the instructions. Take a close look at the instructions. Take a close look at what is written in the instructions. Pay attention to what the teacher is explaining. Otherwise, you might flunk the subject. I don't have the interest in what you are talking about. I usually don't have the interest in what other people are talking about. I hate to read what is written on the board or instructions. I hate to read what is instructed on the paper. I hate to read what is explained in the instructions. I hate to read what is written on the paper. Please take a close look at what is written on the paper. To page 6. Please take a close look at page 6. Please Please have a close look at what is written on the page 6. Please have a close look at what is written on the page 6. Please have a close look at what is written on the page 7. Please take a close look at what is described as follows. Are you content with what you are now? Are you content with what you are now? What I am now is totally different from what I used to be. What I am now is completely different from what I was in the past. The scenery around the train station is totally different what it was 10 years ago. The scenery around the shrine is totally different from what it was 30 years ago. Common senses in the future, like in a century, must be very different from what it is now. Transportation method in the future must be very different from what it is now. The price for the product is higher than what it used to be. The price for commodities are higher than what they used to be. What is suffering everybody? What is affecting everybody might be how they can struggle with morale, motivation, and so on. Even stars are struggling with motivation or morale, according to the information. What she is now cannot be imagined from her past. What she is now cannot be imagined from what she was. What she is now cannot be imagined from her past. Are you content with what your job is now? Are you content with what your job is now? Are you content with what you are doing now? Are you content with what your current job is now? Are you content with what the situation is now? Are you content with what the working environment is now? What I am now. What the city is now. What the town is now. Who could imagine what the city is now from the past? Who could have imagined what the city is now from the past? Who could have imagined what the city is now from the past? Some entrepreneurs already predicted what the life is now. From the past, in the past. Some experts already predicted what our life is now in the past. I think adversities will make what we are now. Adversities made what I am now. Adversities, predicaments, hardships, ordeals, mayhem, chaos, made me what I am now. Hardships I experienced made me what I am now. What I am now. Hardships made me what I am now. Sufferings I've been having made me what I am now. Predicaments, obstacles made me what I am now. Numerous mistakes I made me what I am now. Numerous mistakes made me what I am now. Numerous mistakes and trial and error made what the game console is now. Numerous mistakes and trial and errors made what the game console is now. Numerous trial and errors, mistakes, failures, depression made what the company is now. A tremendous number of tries, challenges, failures, mistakes made what the company is now. Extraordinary number of crazy challenges made what the company is now. Numerous number of trial and errors, mistakes, depressions made what the company is now. A large number of challenges, mistakes, failures, depressions made what he is now. 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 A number of mistakes, failures, depressions, trial and errors made what he is now. Made what the company is now. A large number of mistakes, failures, depressions, trial and errors, crazy challenges made what the video game is now. a great number of mistakes, failures, challenges, trial and errors, depressions, made what the video game is now. A number of crazy challenges, failures, mistakes, depressions, trial and errors, made what the company is now. I am totally different from what I was. I am totally different from what I used to be in the past. I am totally different from what I was. I am totally different from what I used to be. I am totally different from what I was. I am totally different from what I used to be in the past. Don't compare me to what I was. Don't compare yourself to what you used to be. The scenery in and around the train station is totally different from what it was 20 years ago. His level at playing the piano is totally different from what he used to be. What it was 10 years ago. He improved. He grew up to become a professional pianist. I hate to look back on what I was. I hate to look back on what I used to be. I hate to reminisce over what I was. I hate to reminisce over what I used to be. I want to be what you were. I want you to be what you used to be. I would like you to go back to what you were. I would like you to go back to what you used to be. Accommodating, kind, numerous, generous, kind. Do you know the appearance of what the shopping mall was in 10 years ago? Do you know what the shopping mall was in 10 years ago? Do you know what the shopping mall used to be 10 years ago? She is totally different from what she was. She is totally different from what she used to be. The prices for commodities are higher than what they used to be. The commodity prices are much higher than what they were. The commodity prices are a lot higher than what they used to be. The commodity prices are much a lot higher, a lot higher, far higher, far and away higher, far and away higher, by far higher, far higher, a lot higher, much higher, even higher, still higher than what they used to be. Commodity prices are much higher than what they were, what they used to be. Say goodbye to what we were. Say goodbye to what we used to be if you don't like it. Say goodbye what we were. Say goodbye to what we used to be. I hate to reminisce over what I was. I hate to reminisce over what I used to be. I hate to look back on what I was. I hate to look back on what I used to be. The pianist recorded his playing in order to compare his current, in order to compare his future skill to what it was, what it used to be. What he was used to be more aggressive to criticisms. What he used to be was more aggressive and more violent. What the shopping mall was had more customers inside. What the shrine used to be was with more kids. What was the shrine used to be had more kids playing inside. What the train station used to be had more passengers. What the train station was in 20 years ago had more passengers in and around. What the bakery shop was 20 years ago was even open to the public every day without a day off. What the restaurant used to be about 10 years ago was open 24/7. What the bakery shop was used to be open until 10 o'clock p.m. What the beach was 10 years ago was open to the public and swimming was allowed. What was the beach used to be had more swimmers and tourists. The cleanness of the street was totally different from what it was yesterday after the party. The cleanness of the street is totally different from what it was yesterday after the party. Do you like to compare yourself to what you were? Do you like to compare yourself to what you used to be? Our life is a lot more convenient than what it used to be. Our life is more convenient than what it was. Accessibility to anywhere is much more convenient than what it was. Accessibility to a foreign country is more easier than what it was, than what it used to be. Commodity prices are far higher than what they used to be. Commodity prices are far and away higher than what they were. Commodity prices are much higher, a lot higher than what they used to be. Population of the world is larger than what it used to be. The population of the world is even larger than what it used to be. I am totally different from what I was. I am totally different from what I used to be. The cruise ship is what is called a moving shopping mall. The cruise ship is what they call a moving shopping mall. The cruise ship is, so to speak, a moving shopping mall. The cruise ship is what we call a moving shopping mall. The cruise ship is what you call a moving shopping mall. He is what is called a dictator. He is what we call a dictator. He is what they call a dictator. He is what you call a dictator. He is what is called a superhero. He is what we call a superhero. He is what they call a superhero. And he is what you call a superhero. They say he is a superhero. They say he is a superhero. They say that he is a superhero. Onsen facility, hot spring resort, is what is called a heaven for him. hot spring resort is what we call a heaven for some people. Shopping mall is what they call a paradise. Shopping mall is what we call a paradise. Protected from rain, wind, temperature, and so on. Having fun is what is called a natural remedy for everything. Having fun, smiling a lot, is what we call natural remedy for everything. Smiling a lot, what they call natural remedy for everything. Having fun is what you call natural remedy for everything. Having a healthy life is what we call remedy for everything. Having a healthy life is what is called healthy, natural remedy for everything. And having a healthy lifestyle is what you call remedy for everything. I used to be what is called a video game addict. I used to be what we call a video game addict. I used to be what they call a game addict. I used to be what you call a video game addict. The specialized car is what is called a moving house. The specialized car is what we call a moving house. The specialized car is what they call a moving tiny house. The specialized car is what you call a moving tiny house. I used to be what is called a video game nerd, geek, anorak, maniac. I used to be what we call a video game addict, nerd, geek, anorak, maniac. I used to be what they call a video game addict, nerd, geek, anorak, mania. I used to be what you call a video game addict, nerd, geek, anorak, mania. I used to be what is called selfish. I used to be and still what is called selfish. I used to be what we call selfish. What we call selfish? What we call selfish? I used to be what they call selfish. I used to be what you call selfish. Natto is what is called fermented soybeans. Natto, what we call fermented soybeans. Natto, what you call fermented soybeans. He is what is called a savior. He is what we call a savior. He is what they call a savior. He is what you call a savior. Drinking a cup of coffee is what is called medicine to wake me up. Drinking a cup of coffee is what we call a magic to make me up. To wake me up. Drinking a cup of coffee is what they call a kind of magic to make me wake up. Drinking a cup of coffee is what you call a kind of magic to wake me up to a certain extent. But it sometimes doesn't work though. In a nutshell, she is what is called a liar. She is what is called a liar. She is what we call a liar. She is what they call a liar. She is what you call a liar. Bulb is what is called a folding screen. Bulb is what we call a folding screen. Bulb is what you call a folding screen. Ukiyo-e are what is called woodblock prints. Ukiyo-e are what we call woodblock prints. Ukiyo-e, what they call woodblock prints. Ukiyo-e are what you call woodblock prints. Smartphones are what is called moving PC, portable PC. A smartphone is what we call a moving PC. A smartphone is what they call a moving portable shrine. A moving portable PC, not shrine. A smartphone is what you call a moving portable PC. Smartphones are what is called a portable PC. Smartphones are what we call portable PC. Smartphones are what they call portable PC. Smartphones are what you call portable PC. PCs. Karaage is what is called a fried chicken. Karaage is what we call a fried chicken. Karaage is what they call a fried chicken. Karaage is what you call fried chicken. She is what is called a coward. Coward. She is what we call a coward. She is what they call a coward. She is what you call a coward. I am what is called a coward. I am what we call a coward. I am what they call a coward. I am what you call a coward. He is what is called a challenger. He is what is called a challenger. He is what we call a challenger. He is what they call a challenger. He is what you call a challenger. Summer is the season when I feel the happiest because of the longest daytime. Summer is the season when I feel the happiest. Summer is the season I feel the happiest. Summer is when I feel the happiest. Christmas is the day when I feel the most depressed. Christmas is when I feel the most depressed. Christmas is when I feel the most depressed. Somehow. 8 to 9 o'clock is a period when traffic congestion occurs on the road every day. And 8 to 9 o'clock are the term. 8 to 9 o'clock is the term when the traffic congestion comes about every day on the road. 8 to 9 o'clock is the duration when the traffic congestion arises along the road. 8 to 9 o'clock a.m. is the term traffic congestion occurs, comes about, arises, sets in every day on the road. 8 to 9 o'clock a.m. is when the traffic congestion happens on the road. Sunday might be the day when many people work on their hobbies. Sunday might be the day when many people work on their each hobby. Sunday might be the day when many people have a day off. Sunday must be the day many people have a day off. Sunday must be when many people have a day off. Obon season is the period many people go back to their hometown. Obon is the season many people go back to their hometown. Obon is the season many people go back to their hometown or go on a trip. Obon is when many people go back to their hometown or have a trip, excursion. Tokyo is a place where many tourists gather. April 1st is the date when the fiscal year of many companies start. April 1st is the day and the date when many companies set the first fiscal year. April 1st is the date many companies set as the first fiscal year. April 1st is the date many companies set at the start of the fiscal year. April 1st is the date welcoming ceremony is held at many entities like schools, companies, and so on. April 1st is the date when welcoming ceremonies are held in many organizations. April 1st is when many welcoming ceremonies are held in many organizations. April 1st is when welcoming ceremony is held in many organizations. April 1st is the day when a welcoming ceremony takes place in many places, in many organizations, corporations, schools, and so on. April 1st is the date a welcoming ceremony is held in many organizations, including schools, companies, and so on. April 1st is when the welcoming ceremony is takes place in many organizations. 7 o'clock a.m. is a time when many people get up. 7 o'clock a.m. is a time many people get up. 7 o'clock a.m. is when many people get up. The condition I'm waiting behind the scene to prepare for my performance is the turn when I feel the most nervous. Me waiting in behind the stage in preparation for my performance is the turn when I feel the most nervous. Me waiting in front of a restaurant is a turn when I feel the most stressed. Me waiting in front of the restaurant for eating lunch is a time I feel stressed. Me waiting in front of the restaurant for lunch is when I feel stressed. And 10 minutes might be the longest time when I can wait for. 10 minutes might be the longest time when I can wait for. April 1st is the date. A welcoming ceremony takes place at many organizations. April 1st is when a welcoming ceremony takes place in many organizations. April 1st is the date. A welcoming ceremony takes place in many organizations. April 2nd is the date when I first got the medication. Saturday is the only day when I'm released from the company. Lunchtime is the only turn when I can feel free. Lunchtime is the only time that I can feel free. Lunchtime is the only period when I feel happy. Lunchtime is the only period I can feel free. Lunchtime is the only time, period, term when I can relax. Lunchtime is the only term in the day in the company I can feel relaxed. I can relax. Lunchtime is the only term in the day when I can relax. Lunchtime is when I can relax. Lunchtime is only when I can relax. Lunchtime is when I can relax. Lunchtime is when I can relax. Lunchtime in a day is only when I can relax. Monday is the day when many people go to work. Monday is the day many commuters head for each workplace. Monday is the day when many hair salons are closed. Monday is the day when many hair salons are closed. Monday is when many hair salons are closed. Monday is when many hair salons are closed. Monday is the day many hair salons are closed. Monday is when many hair salons are closed. Monday is 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 the day on which many hair salons are closed. Monday is the day on which many hair salons are closed. Monday is the day on which many hair salons are closed. April 1st is the day on which a welcoming ceremony is held in many organizations. Lunchtime is the only term period in which I can relax. Lunchtime is the only time in which I can relax. Lunchtime in a day is the only term, period, duration in which I can relax. 2 hours were the only time I could spend in the international airport. 2 hours was 2 hours was the time I could spend in the international airport. 2 hours was the time when I could spend in the international airport. 2 hours was the period that I could spend in the international airport. 2 hours was the time when I could spend in the international airport. 2 hours was the time in which I could spend at the international airport. Sunday is the day on which I can sleep until late. Sunday is the only day on which I can sleep until late. Sunday is the only day in a week on which I can sleep to my heart's content. To my heart's content. To my heart's content. 'Night is the time at which he can be aggressive. Night is the time at which he can have the most motivation. He is a night owl person. Night is the time at which he can have the most motivation. 9 o'clock is the time at which many people enjoy watching TV. 7 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. is said to be the golden hour during which many people enjoy watching TV. From 7 to 9 o'clock p.m. is said to be golden hour in which many people enjoy watching TVs. TV. Parking my car is a moment. At which I feel the most nervous. Parking my car is a moment at which I feel the most nervous, so that I won't bump into anything. In case I should bump into anything, for fear that I should bump into anything, lest I should bump into anything. End of the year is the day on which I feel excited. End of the year is the day on which I feel excited. I'm excited. New Year's Eve is the date when I feel excited. New Year's Eve is the moment I feel the most excited. New Year's Eve is a date on which I feel excited. New Year's Eve is the day on which I feel excited. New Year's Eve is the day I feel excited. New Year's Eve is the day I feel excited. New Year's Eve is the day on which I feel excited. New Year's Eve is a day on which many people eat soba, buckwheat noodles. Brown noodles made of buckwheat flour. Summer is the season in which I feel the happiest because the daytime is longer. Summer is the season in which I feel happiest, gladdiest. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season in which I can go swimming. Summer is the season I feel happiest because of the bright sunlight and long daytime. Next Thursday is the day on which I have to go to the clinic. Next Thursday is the day when I have to go to the clinic. Next Thursday is the day on which I have to go to the clinic. This Friday is the day on which by which I have to submit my report to my professor. This Friday is the last day by which I have to return. By which I have to turn in my thesis to my professor. Next Friday is the deadline by which I have to hand in my thesis to my professor. Sunday night is the night at which I feel the most depressed. Sunday night is the night when I feel the most depressed. Sunday night is the time at which I feel the most depressed. Sunday night is the time at which I feel the most depressed. Sunday night is the night at which I feel the most depressed. Sunday night is the night I feel the most depressed, on which I feel the most depressed, at which I feel the most depressed. Parking my car is the moment at which I have to pay attention to my driving the most. Parking my car is the moment at which I have to closely pay attention to. Parking my car is the moment at which I have to the most pay attention. Maximum pay attention. Parking my car is a moment at which I have to pay at most pay attention. Parking my car is the moment at which I have to pay at most attention. Parking my car is a moment when I have to pay at most attention. Parking my car is a moment when I pay at most attention. The plane taking off the airport is a moment at which I feel excited. A plane taking off is a moment when I feel excited. Friday night is the moment at which I feel the happiest. Friday night is the moment at which I feel the happiest. Friday night is the time at which I feel the happiest. Friday night is the time in which I feel the happiest. Friday night is the time in which I feel the happiest. Friday night is a situation in which I feel the happiest. April 1st is the day a welcoming ceremony is held in many organizations. April 1st is the day on which many companies set as the start day of the fiscal year. April 1st is the day on which many companies set at the start of the fiscal year. April 1st is the day on which a welcoming ceremony takes place in many organizations. Summer is the season in which I feel the happiest. Summer is the season I like the best. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season when I feel the happiest. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season I like the best. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season in which I like the best. This Friday is the deadline by which I have to turn in my thesis to my associate professor. This Friday is the deadline by which I have to submit my thesis to my associate professor. This Friday is the deadline by which I have to hand in my thesis to my professor. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Summer is the season in which I like the best. Sunday night is the moment at which I feel depressed. Sunday night is the time I feel depressed. Sunday night is the time at which I feel most depressed. Sunday night is the time at which I feel most depressed. Sunday night is the time in which I feel the most depressed. Parking my car is the moment when I feel the most nervous. Parking my car is the moment in which I have to pay utmost attention. Parking my car is the moment in which I have to pay utmost attention. Parking my car is the moment in which I have to pay the most attention. Parking my car is the moment in which I have to pay utmost attention. Do you remember the place where we met for the first time? Do you remember the place where we met for the first time? Do you remember the place we met for the first time? Do you remember where we met for the first time? This is the apartment where I lived for 4 years. This is the apartment where I lived for 4 years. This is the apartment where I lived for 4 years. This is the apartment where I lived for 4 years. 4 years. 4 years. This is the apartment I lived for 4 years. This is where I lived for 4 years. This is where I lived for 4 years. This is where I lived for 4 years. Tokyo is the place where many tourists go for the first time. Tokyo is where many tourists choose as a place to visit for the first time. Tokyo is a place where many tourists from other countries choose a place to visit when they come to Japan for the first time. Tokyo is where many tourists choose as a place to visit when they come to Japan for the first time. Where is the place where you can relax the most? A family restaurant might be the place where some people can be focused on their duty with noise around. Some people might be able to focus on their study in a place where noise is coming from outside and people talking. A family restaurant might be the place where some people can focus on their duty or study. Library might be the place where some people can focus on studying. Library is a place where she can study and focus on the study. Library is the place where she can focus on her study better than her room. Toilet was where many students gathered in my school. Toilets were the places where many students gathered during the breaking time. Toilets became the places where many students gathered in my school. Toilets became where many students gathered. Toilet became the places many people gathered in my school. 京都 is the place where many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is the place many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is the place where many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is 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 where many historical buildings remain. This is the hotel where I stayed to take the examination the day before. This is where I stayed the day before the examination. This is the hotel where I stayed the day before the examination. And this is the hotel I stayed in the day before the examination. Okinawa is the place where it is relatively warm even in winter. Tokyo is the capital of Japan where many tourists come. Tokyo is the capital of Japan where many tourists pay a visit. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Many tourists pay a visit. Tokyo is where many tourists pay a visit. Tokyo is where many tourists pay a visit. Tokyo is where many tourists pay a visit. The club activity was the opportunity where or when we met for the first time. The club activity was the opportunity we met. The club activity was where we met. Kyoto is the place where many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is the place where many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is the place many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is where many historical buildings remain. Kyoto is where many historical buildings remain. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!